Every failed EV startup explained. Fisker. Henrik Fisker's second attempt at building an EV company after his first one went bankrupt in 2013. The Ocean SUV promised revolutionary features. A full solar panel roof that could add 1,500 miles of range per year, recycled ocean plastic interiors, and a rear window that rolled down like a pickup truck. Fisker raised over $1 billion through a SPAC merger and claimed 65,000 pre-orders. But the Ocean launched with catastrophic software bugs. Cars would randomly shut down, charging ports wouldn't open, and the infotainment system crashed constantly. Customer service was non-existent, with owners waiting months for basic repairs. Quality control was so bad that Consumer Reports called it unfinished. Despite delivering over 10,000 vehicles, mounting warranty claims, supplier payment delays, and a stock price collapse from $28 to under $1, forced Fisker to file for bankruptcy in June 2024. The company that promised to revolutionize EVs couldn't even make them work properly. Faraday Future, the most spectacular failure in EV history, burning through over $2 billion while delivering fewer than 100 cars. Founded by Chinese billionaire Jia Yueting, who fled to the US after his Li-Co empire collapsed in China, Faraday promised to build the Tesla killer with the FF91 luxury SUV. The car was supposed to have 1,050 horsepower, 378-mile range, and revolutionary features like facial recognition entry and massage seats. Faraday built a massive $1 billion factory in Nevada and hired top talent from Tesla, BMW, and Ferrari. But the company was a house of cards built on lies and financial manipulation. The FF91 prototype famously broke down during its CES 2017 debut, failing to reverse on stage. Production was delayed year after year, while executives fled and suppliers sued for unpaid bills. When cars finally reached customers in 2022, 6 years late, they were plagued with quality issues and missing features. Jia Yueting filed for personal bankruptcy, but somehow retained control of the company, which continues to burn investor money while producing virtually no cars. Nicola Motors, the hydrogen truck company that became synonymous with startup fraud. Founded by Trevor Milton, Nikola promised to revolutionize trucking with hydrogen fuel cell and battery electric trucks. The company went public via SPAC merger in 2020 with a $12 billion valuation based on bold claims about their technology. Milton became a billionaire on paper and positioned himself as the next Elon Musk. But investigative reports revealed the company's prototype trucks were non-functional props. Their famous promotional video showing a Nikola truck driving was actually the truck rolling downhill with no power. The breakthrough hydrogen technology was largely vaporware, and promised partnerships with major companies were vastly overstated. Milton was forced to resign and was later convicted of fraud, sentenced to 4 years in prison. The company struggled on without him, burning through billions while delivering virtually no trucks. Nikola finally filed for bankruptcy in 2024, leaving investors with worthless stock and a cautionary tale about believing startup hype over actual products. Lordstown Motors promised to build electric pickup trucks in a former GM factory in Ohio, capitalizing on both EV hype and Rust Belt revival narratives. The company claimed to have 100,000 pre-orders for their endurance pickup truck and went public through a SPAC merger, raising over $600 million. CEO Steve Burns became a media darling, promising to bring manufacturing jobs back to Ohio while building the truck fleet operators actually wanted. But investigative reports revealed the pre-orders were largely fake. Many came from companies with no money or actual intention to buy trucks. The endurance prototypes were plagued with problems, catching fire during testing and suffering from basic engineering flaws. The truck's hub-mounted motors, touted as revolutionary, proved unreliable and difficult to service. Burns was forced to resign amid SEC investigations, and the company admitted their pre-order claims were misleading. Lordstown sold their factory and intellectual property to Foxconn in 2022, essentially admitting they couldn't build trucks at scale. The company that promised to revitalize American manufacturing became another cautionary tale about SPAC fraud. Canoe had one of the most interesting approaches to EVs with modular platforms that could be configured as delivery vans, pickup trucks, or passenger cars. The company's skateboard platform put all mechanical components in a flat chassis, allowing for maximum interior space and design flexibility. Canoe went public through a SPAC merger and raised hundreds of millions while showcasing futuristic vehicle designs that looked like something from a sci-fi movie. Their subscription-based ownership model promised to eliminate traditional car buying entirely. But the company's business model never made sense. They kept changing strategies from consumer vehicles to commercial vans to government contracts. Production was repeatedly delayed as the company burned through cash without generating meaningful revenue. Mass layoffs followed as Canoe struggled to find customers willing to pay for their unconventional vehicles. The stock price collapsed from over $20 to under $1 as investors lost faith in management's ability to execute. Despite raising over $600 million, Canoe has delivered virtually no vehicles and faces potential bankruptcy. Bion, the Chinese startup that promised to revolutionize car interiors with a massive 48-inch curved display spanning the entire dashboard. Founded by former BMW and Nissan executives, Bion raised over $1 billion and built a state-of-the-art factory in Nanjing, China. The M-Byte SUV was supposed to be a smartphone on wheels with facial recognition, gesture controls, and constant internet connectivity. The interior looked more like a living room than a car, with rotating seats and multiple screens for every passenger. Bion generated massive hype at auto shows and attracted investments from major firms including Tencent and FAW Group, but the company was burning $200 million per year while struggling to get regulatory approval for their complex electronic systems. The massive screen created safety concerns, and the software was nowhere near ready for production. When COVID-19 hit, Bion suspended operations and laid off most of their workforce. Despite multiple attempts to restart production, the company never recovered and officially ceased operations in 2022. The factory sits empty, a monument to the dangers of prioritizing flashy features over basic automotive engineering. Arrival, the British company that promised to revolutionize commercial vehicle manufacturing with microfactories, small local production facilities that could be quickly deployed anywhere. Instead of massive centralized plants like traditional automakers, Arrival planned networks of small factories that would reduce shipping costs and environmental impact. They developed electric vans and buses with unique composite body panels and modular designs. The company went public via SPAC merger with a $13 billion valuation and partnerships with UPS and other major logistics companies. Arrival's approach seemed brilliant. Local production, lower capital costs, and vehicles designed specifically for commercial use rather than adapted from passenger cars. But the microfactory concept proved much harder to execute than promised. The company struggled with quality control across multiple small facilities. Supply chain coordination became a nightmare, and production costs were higher than expected. Despite raising over $600 million, Arrival delivered virtually no vehicles while burning through cash. The company laid off most of its workforce in 2023 and faces potential bankruptcy, proving that revolutionary manufacturing concepts don't always work in practice. Workhorse Group focused on electric delivery vans and pickup trucks, positioning themselves perfectly for the e-commerce boom and last-mile delivery growth. The company developed the NGN van specifically for delivery routes and the W15 pickup truck with an integrated drone for package delivery. Workhorse seemed to have everything going for them: partnerships with UPS, a focus on commercial vehicles with clear use cases, and backing from major investors. The company's stock soared during the EFI hype of 2020 to 2021, as investors bet on the delivery vehicle market. But Workhorse was plagued by execution problems from the start. Their vehicles suffered from quality issues, limited range, and reliability problems that made them unsuitable for commercial use. The promised UPS partnership never materialized into significant orders, and the drone delivery system proved impractical for real-world use. Production was repeatedly delayed while the company burned through cash without generating meaningful revenue. The stock price collapsed from over $40 to under $1 as investors realized Workhorse couldn't deliver on their promises. Despite having a clear market opportunity and early partnerships, the company failed to execute on basic vehicle development and manufacturing. Proterra specialized in electric buses and became a leader in transit electrification, with their vehicles operating in cities across America. The company seemed perfectly positioned as municipalities pushed to electrify their bus fleets for environmental and cost reasons. Proterra's buses featured advanced battery technology, efficient drivetrains, and charging systems designed specifically for transit operations. The company went public and raised hundreds of millions while expanding production and developing new technologies. But the electric bus market proved more challenging than expected. Municipalities were slow to adopt new technology, procurement processes were lengthy and political, and competition from established bus manufacturers intensified. Proterra struggled with quality issues and warranty claims that drained cash flow. The company also made strategic mistakes, expanding too quickly and taking on projects that weren't profitable. Despite early success and a clear market need, Proterra filed for bankruptcy in 2023 due to financial difficulties and competitive pressures. Their assets were sold to other companies, continuing electric bus development. But the original company that pioneered transit electrification couldn't survive the transition to mass market adoption. Bollinger Motors. Founded by Robert Bollinger to build rugged electric trucks for serious work, the B1 SUV and B2 pickup featured distinctive boxy designs that looked like electric versions of military vehicles. The trucks had portal axles for extreme ground clearance, pass-through cargo areas, and industrial-grade construction designed for commercial use rather than consumer appeal. Bollinger generated significant interest from enthusiasts who wanted capable work trucks without the complexity of modern pickup designs. The company raised funding and developed functional prototypes that demonstrated impressive off-road capability. But Bollinger struggled with the transition from prototypes to production vehicles. Meeting safety regulations required extensive redesigns that increased costs and complexity. The company pivoted from consumer to commercial markets, focusing on delivery trucks and work vehicles, but this required developing entirely new products. Production was repeatedly delayed as Bollinger searched for manufacturing partners and additional funding. Despite having a clear vision and functional prototypes, the company couldn't bridge the gap between concept and mass production, highlighting how difficult it is to manufacture vehicles at scale, even with proven designs. Alpha Motor Corporation, the California startup that generated massive social media buzz with retro-styled electric vehicles like the ACE Coupe and WOLF pickup. Their designs perfectly captured 1960s American muscle car aesthetics updated with modern EV technology. Think electric Mustang Fastback or Camaro with clean lines and aggressive proportions. Alpha's renderings went viral on Instagram and automotive forums, generating over 75,000 reservations despite never building a functional prototype. The company promised affordable performance EVs starting around $36,000, targeting enthusiasts who wanted classic styling without classic car reliability issues. But Alpha was essentially a design studio with no manufacturing capability, funding, or automotive engineering expertise. The company operated more like a social media marketing campaign than a real automaker, generating hype through slick renderings and promotional videos. Despite the massive interest in their designs, Alpha has never built a working vehicle or secured the hundreds of millions needed for production. The company represents the danger of confusing social media buzz with actual business viability. Having great designs means nothing without the ability to build real cars. Mullen Automotive claims to be developing electric vehicles, including the 5 crossover SUV, with 325-mile range and revolutionary solid-state battery technology. The company has made bold claims about partnerships with major suppliers and breakthrough battery technology that would leapfrog Tesla and other established EV makers. Mullen went public through reverse merger and has attracted retail investors with promises of game-changing technology at affordable prices. But the company has faced widespread skepticism about their ability to deliver on these claims. Mullen has no manufacturing facilities, limited funding, and has never produced a functional vehicle despite years of development. Their claimed solid-state battery technology has never been independently verified, and promised partnerships with major companies have failed to materialize. The company appears to be more focused on promoting their stock than developing actual products. Mullen represents the worst aspects of EV startup hype, making revolutionary claims without the technology, funding, or expertise to deliver real products. Atlas Motor Vehicles, developing the XT pickup truck designed for heavy-duty work with up to 500-mile range and 35,000-pound towing capacity. The company claims their battery technology can charge from 0 to 80% in just 15 minutes, which would be revolutionary for commercial vehicles. Based in Arizona, Atlas has raised some funding and built a small facility for prototype development. But the company's claims about battery performance seem unrealistic given current technology limitations. Charging a massive battery pack in 15 minutes would require electrical infrastructure that doesn't exist and generate enormous heat that would damage the batteries. Atlas has been developing their truck for years without producing functional prototypes or demonstrating their claimed battery technology. The company represents the common startup mistake of promising revolutionary technology without the scientific foundation to deliver it. Sono Motors, German company that developed the Scion, an electric car with integrated solar panels that could charge itself and even power other devices. The concept was brilliant. Solar panels covering the entire body could add up to 21 miles of range per day, and the car could serve as a mobile power station for camping or emergency use. Sono Motors raised over 50 million euros through crowdfunding and generated significant interest from environmentally conscious consumers. The company built functional prototypes and demonstrated the solar charging technology actually worked. But despite the innovative technology and crowdfunding success, Sono Motors couldn't raise the hundreds of millions needed for mass production. The automotive industry requires enormous capital investments that crowdfunding and small investors couldn't provide. The company abandoned passenger car production in 2023 to focus on commercial solar vehicle applications, essentially admitting they couldn't compete in the consumer market despite having working technology. Unity, Sweden. Swedish startup that developed the Unity 1, a compact city car designed specifically for urban mobility. The car featured a distinctive design with a large glass canopy, minimalist interior, and compact dimensions perfect for crowded European cities. Unity raised funding from investors and the Swedish government while positioning themselves as the future of urban transportation. The company built prototypes and demonstrated the car's unique features, including advanced connectivity and autonomous driving capabilities. But Unity struggled with the same problems facing most EV startups: the enormous capital requirements for automotive manufacturing. Despite government support and initial investor interest, the company couldn't raise enough funding to begin mass production. Quality issues with early prototypes and delays in development further eroded investor confidence. Unity filed for bankruptcy in 2022, proving that even government backing and innovative designs aren't enough to guarantee success in the automotive industry. WM Motor. Weltmeister. Chinese EV startup that launched with the EX5 SUV, featuring advanced autonomous driving capabilities and competitive pricing. The company raised billions in funding and built modern factories while positioning themselves as a technology-focused alternative to traditional automakers. WM Motors vehicles featured advanced driver assistance systems, over-the-air updates, and connectivity features that rivaled Tesla. The company seemed well-positioned in China's rapidly growing EV market, with products that offered good value and advanced technology. But WM Motor struggled with sales in China's increasingly competitive EV market, where dozens of companies are fighting for market share. The company faced financial difficulties as sales failed to meet projections and cash flow became negative. Despite having functional products and modern manufacturing facilities, WM Motor represents the challenges facing Chinese EV startups in an oversaturated market where only the strongest companies can survive. The graveyard of failed EV startups tells a consistent story. Having great ideas, innovative technology, or even functional prototypes isn't enough to succeed in the automotive industry. Building cars at scale requires enormous capital, manufacturing expertise, supply chain management, and the ability to navigate complex regulations across multiple markets. Most failed startups made the same fundamental mistakes: underestimating the difficulty of automotive manufacturing, overpromising on technology capabilities, and burning through investor money without achieving sustainable production. The few EV companies that have succeeded did so by focusing on execution over hype, building real products rather than just promoting concepts, and understanding that the automotive industry rewards competence over creativity. These failures serve as expensive lessons for future entrepreneurs and investors about the difference between disrupting an industry and actually building a sustainable business within it.